Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to shorter attention, what I was doing and things like that. Hopefully it helps you out. You know, hopefully. How's it going, boys and girls? Sorry I'm getting this video in so late tonight. I gotta be honest, I've actually been pretty strung out over the past couple days between school and everything going on with Honor 22. But did not forget about you. We got a very important topic we're continuing to discuss, and that is how PTSD affects your relationships. And tonight we're going to talk about the big one: how PTSD affects your relationship with your significant other, the person that you care about the most in this world. So before I get started on that, I just wanted to go over a couple things on Honor 22. This Saturday we're going to go out to Government Canyon Park. We're going to do a little trail run out there. It's $6 to park there, so if you guys want to park for free, get in touch with me so that way we can all carpool together, or I can pay for your parking, one of the two. Next Saturday we're running the El Chupacabra de San Antonio. I still have 2 tickets available for that. They are completely free of charge. All you got to do is go to our event page, let me know, hey, I want to come run, give me a t-shirt size, we'll be good to go there. On a related note, we are still selling t-shirts. They are $15 a pop. We got all shapes and sizes. If you want to pick one up, either go to our Facebook page, order it online, or go to our website and order it there as well. And then finally, we are hosting our own first softball tournament to raise money for the Family Endeavors group in San Antonio, as well as the Warm Springs PTSD clinic, as Tim's PTSD support group. So right now teams are $300 to sign up. That would be $25 a team, so 12 persons per team. If you want to sign up for a team, get in touch with EJ. She is running all of that there. Okay, we're going to talk about PTSD and your significant other. So let me go ahead and clean up my sweet little Picasso here. So basically, we talked about how every relationship you have in your life is on, everybody's on your life plus. That's for everybody. It doesn't matter what you have going on with your life. You're alcoholic, schizophrenic, hell, even just living a normal life. Everybody has a life bus that they live on. And everybody that has ever been a part of your life has been on your bus at some point or another. So whenever it comes to PTSD, you're no longer driving your own life bus. PTSD is controlling your bus, and it's affecting how your relationships are viewed by the people on that bus. So PTSD, when it comes to relationships with a significant other, now this is the person that either you're dating, you're married, whatever the case may be, guy or girl, doesn't matter. This is the person that you are most intimate with, and like they are the person that you rely on. They're the person that you go to when the chips are down. You know, that's your ride or die. That's the person that's going to be there for you, that you hope, when shit hits the fan. So how PTSD affects this relationship, really it boils down to a couple key things. It affects your trust in them. It affects the closeness you have with them, and it also affects the communication you have with them. Now, the reason it affects these big things here, and if you haven't noticed, these are pretty big parts of any relationship. For any relationship to work, you have to trust them, you have to be intimate with them, and you have to communicate with them. Well, with PTSD, the reason you don't trust them is because one of the symptoms of PTSD is hypervigilance. Now, that is just the basic hyperarousal, where at any given point you think something bad's going to happen. That transitions back into this trust here, where, okay, at any given point something bad's going to happen in our relationship. And then, of course, you have your negative beliefs, and they are, you know, either your beliefs in how you see yourself, your own self-image, or how you see the world, how you even see your relationship. Could be a negative belief. And then finally is a sense of entitlement. Now, the sense of entitlement when it comes to PTSD is a big thing with that is this phrase here, you wouldn't understand. I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say that. I can't tell you how many times I've said that. And basically, that's just, this one right here affects your closeness, and it also affects the communication, because instead of talking about anything, instead of bringing anything up, you keep it into yourself, because again, the thought process is, well, they're not going to help me. You know, what's the point? They won't understand. They weren't there. They did not live it. To go with that, some of the other symptoms of PTSD, such as your anger issues, your depression, your diminished interest in activities you used to enjoy, and even your increased need to protect the loved one is a big one there. Now, how this affects your loved one, how it affects them on the outside of what's going on with you, they start to feel cut off from you. They start to feel like you aren't sharing, you aren't being close to them, you aren't being intimate with them, whatever the case may be, and that's really going to upset me. Why is that not working right there? Come on. Wow. I have to grab another marker. Okay. And then, of course, the depression also affects the people in your life, because if you're depressed, believe it or not, you do affect the people around you in a negative manner, because they start to feel helpless and they start to feel hopeless. Helpless because they can't do anything to make you feel any better, and hopeless because they can't do anything to make you feel better. They also might feel overwhelmed just with everything that's happened, especially if you share the trauma with them. They, you know, 9 times out of 10, that's something that they've never had to deal with before. Another thing, they might feel pressured. They might feel like, you know, you are, or they are your only source of happiness. They're your only source of stability in their life. And that's a huge pressure to put on anyone, which could ultimately make them feel like they are being controlled. Now this one here, if you look up any sort of definition for negative relationships and why 9 times out of 10 relationships fail, it's because someone feels like they're being controlled. And so that's how all these symptoms here play into affecting your relationship negatively. Now, I didn't mention this at the start of the video. This is going to be a 2-parter just because there's so much stuff I've got to cover here. But I wanted to share a little something with you before I did these push-ups. So my ex and I had a pretty toxic relationship when I came home. And this statement right here was really when I knew I had a problem. When she came to me and told me, hey, being around you makes me feel like I have to walk on eggshells because I'm afraid that either you're going to snap, you're going to say something angry, or you're going to do the opposite. You're going to shut down and you're not going to want to talk about anything. I feel like I have to walk on eggshells. Now, if you think about that statement there, you can start with control. Because how I dictated my own emotions and how I transitioned him in our relationship affected how she could communicate with me. You can also think that that was a huge pressure on her, because, again, she has to pick and choose what she talks about. She cannot sit there and openly communicate with me if I'm constantly losing my mind. So that was a big thing with her and I. That was a big part of why our relationship ultimately ended and we went our separate ways. Was we had problems with trust, we had problems communicating, and you know, ultimately at the time, I wasn't actively seeking help. I wasn't trying to make myself better. So I'm not saying that you can't find a way to make your relationship work. Everybody has their own niche. Everybody has their own idea of what a good relationship is. I'm just telling you out of my own experience, these are the things that affected my relationship and ultimately what led to my relationship ending. So hopefully by watching these videos, you can learn to not do these things through my own mistakes. Another thing I didn't get to mention, it looks like I'm going to have to split this video up anyways, so another thing I didn't get to mention, even when you're going into your recovery and you actually start going to therapy and things like that, you're starting to lose this guy here, time. And time is very valuable when it comes to any sort of healthy relationship. You have to spend time with someone. I mean, it sounds stupid. It sounds like a very common thing, but common sense isn't so common. Because a lot of people, whenever they want a healthy relationship, they don't put forth the time, they don't put forth the effort into doing it. And a lot of people end their relationships because of these things. Either I don't have enough time or there's not enough effort going on in there. Now, when you're going through your own recovery, that takes up your time. That takes up any sort of effort you might be able to put in there, because now Now I've got to work on myself. I've got to be a better person so I can be better for them. And if I'm not better for them, then I can't be better for my relationship. But on the back side of that, I'm not giving in the time or the effort into the relationship anymore. You see how it's a catch-22? So that's why really PTSD and any sort of recovery you go to is very insidious, and it takes a very strong person to actually stand by you while you go through this. Because yes, at the time when you're going through it, it's very difficult. It is very difficult to process. It's very difficult to go through. But at the end of the day, it's ultimately worth it because you're trying to better yourself. You're trying to be a better person for your significant other, but ultimately for yourself. So again, tomorrow, I talked a lot about the negative stuff. I talked about how PTSD will affect your relationship, how your significant other could see, how you're treating them might make them feel. But I didn't really talk a whole lot about some of the positive things you can do to prevent that. So tomorrow, I'm going to come in and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the positive things that you can do for your significant other and your significant other can do for you. So in the meantime, I'm going to knock out these push-ups, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will conclude PTSD in a relationship tomorrow. So on a related note, I just wanted to go ahead thank everybody that's been a part of Honor 22 up to this point. EJ, you've been great. Thank you again for all the support, friends and family, everybody that stood by us while we're trying to take off. A big part of why I've been busy is there's been a lot of exciting opportunities that have been coming down the pipe over the past 2 or 3 weeks. There's a lot of potential to really expand what we have going on, and depending on how we work it will depend on how successful it becomes. So there's definitely a lot of exciting stuff going on. So guys, stay tuned, and you want to get a good sweat on? Come join us. All right. Hey, have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.